Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. So today I and my group members will be presenting about introduction to company. So our presentation will be divided into four parts. The first part will be presented by Amirul, which is classification of company. The second part will be presented by Shami, which is company formation. The third part will be presented by Fikri, which is financial reporting. Fourth and the last part will be presented by Hannah, which is a annual report. So we will start with our first presenter, Amirul, to present the classification of company. So now I will present about classifications of companies. So the first class is private limited company. It is any type of business entity in private ownership used in many jurisdictions. In contrast to a publicly listed company with some differences from country to country. So it may differ between countries. Like the private limited company in Malaysia and private limited company in, let's say, Singapore, they are not the same. Some terms might differ. So for the second class of company, it is public limited company, a type of public company under United Kingdom company law, some Commonwealth jurisdictions, and the Republic of Ireland. So the third class of company, it is private exempt company, which means a private company with no more than 20 shareholders, none of which are corporate bodies, with direct or indirect interest in those shares. So the fourth class of companies, it is investment company, a corporation or trust engaged in the business of investing the pool capital of investors in financial securities. So the fifth and the last class of company is government-linked company, shortly GLC. It is a company that has a primary commercial objective and in which the Malaysian government has a direct controlling stake. So now I will show you the difference between private limited company and public limited company. So from the name itself, it's already different. As for private limited company, it is ABC Sendirian Berhad. But for public limited company, it is ABC Berhad, with no usage of the Sendirian words, because Sendirian already means private in So for the capacity, the private limited company holds only until 50 for maximum capacity, but for public limited company, the capacity for the ownerships, it is unlimited. So for the transfer of shares, it is restricted in private limited company, but for public limited company, they can transfer their shares through the share market.
Okay, for the company formation, there are 4 steps in formatting the company. The first step is a promotion of a company. The term promotion refers to the aggregate of activities designed to bring into being an enterprise to operate a business. It presupposes the technical processing of a commercial proportion with reference to its potential profitability. The meaning of promotion and the steps to be taken in promoting a business are discussed in brief here. The second step is registration. Registration is the second stage in the formation of a company. It is the registration that brings a company into existence. A company is properly constituted only when it is duly registered under the Act and the certificate of incorporation has been obtained from the register of company. The third step is the capital subscription. A private company or public not having share capital can commence business immediately on its incorporation. As such, capital subscription stage and commencement of business stage are relevant only in the case of a public company having a share capital, such as companies has to pass through these additional two stages before it can commence business. The fourth and the last stage is commencement of business. After getting the certificate of incorporated, a private company can start its business. A public company can start its business only after getting a certificate of commencement of business. How long does it take to form a company? Usually, the timeline can be varied depending on the completion and the accuracy of the documents that need to be submitted. But the entire company registration process can take between 5 to 10 working days. Can we choose any name we want for our company? You can choose any name for your company, followed by these few simple tips, which is avoid using hard to spell names. Don't pick a name that can limiting your business growing. Search for availability of the name and get some feedback on the name. These are the list contents of the memorandum of associates. You need to have a company's name, location of its registered office, object clauses, and also the power of the company. The two extra is the ability of the members of the company is limited and the amount of its authorized capital that registered.
Okay, for the financial reporting, the definition of financial reporting. Financial reporting is the financial result of an organization that are released its stakeholders and the public. This reporting is a key function of the controller who may be assisted by the investor relations officer if an organization is public held. So for the main components of financial report, first is balance sheet. The balance sheet is one of the important statement depicting the financial strength of the concern. It shows on the one hand and properties that it utilize, and on other hand the sources of those properties. The balance sheet show all the assets owned by the conqueror and all the liabilities and claim its oaths to owners and outsiders. The balance sheet is prepared on a particular date. The second is income statement. Income statement is prepared to determine the operational position of the conqueror. It is a statement of revenue earned and the expenses include for earning the revenue. If there is excess of revenue over expenditures, it will show a profit, and if the expenditures are more than the income, then there will be a loss. The income statement is prepared for a particular period, generally a year. The income statement may be prepared in the form of a manufacturing account to find out the cost of production, in the form of trading account to determine gross profit or gross loss, in the form of a profit and loss account to determine net profit or net loss. And the third is cash flow statement. The cash flow statement or CFS measure how well a company manages its cash position, meaning how well the company generates cash to pay its debt obligation and funds its operating expenses. The cash flow statement complements the balance sheet and income statement, and it is a mandatory part of a company's financial report. And the last one is statement of shareholder equity. A statement of shareholder equity details the change within the equity section of the balance sheet over a designated period of time. The reporter provides additional information to readers of the financial statement regarding equity-related activity during a reporting period. The statement is particularly useful for revealing stock sales and repurchase by the reporting entity. A public health company in particular may engage in these activities on an ongoing basis. What is financial report show? They show you the money. They show you where a company money came from, where it went, and where it's now. There are four main financial statements: the balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, and statement of shareholders' equity.
Okay, annual report. What's included in the annual report? Typical annual report will include general corporate information, operating and financial review, director's report, corporate governance information, chairperson statement, contains non-audited information, notes to the financial statements, accounting policies, and the important is the financial statement, including balance sheet, also known as statement of financial position, income statement, also known as profit and loss statement, statement of changes in equity, and cash flow statement. How do you write an annual report? So first you may determine key message. The investor and employees want to know what you did and why you did it. By connecting your activities and your accomplishment to the final goals and mission statement, businesses can build trust and foster long-lasting connection. Second, finalize structure and content. It's important to map out the content and the structure of the report. The annual report should have a storyline that defines the overall structure of the report and shapes the content around a narrative thread. Use clear, precise, and unambiguous writing. Maintain a professional and unbiased position throughout the document. The content of the annual report should be transparent and honest. Don't inflate accomplishment or discuss the losses that you face. Third, use compelling design. Here are some pointer or tips for a good annual report design. Use heading and subheadings. Devote space to photograph, infographics, and other compelling visual elements. Keep the text short and simple. Use a bold and complementary color scheme and layout techniques that are in sync with your brand. Emphasize key areas with color text boxes, quotes, and captions. Less is planned in advance. Creating an annual report is a long-term process that requires an organized system for recording and tracking data, media clipping, photographs, and a list of business achievements. What is the purpose of the annual report? The intent of the required annual report is to provide public disclosure of a company's operating and financial to shareholders and other stakeholders who use it to evaluate the firm's financial performance and to make investment decisions. What is annual report of a company? A company's annual report is a means of communicating with investors and other stakeholders. Its main purpose is to provide current and prospective investor with financial information. A company's own employees may use its annual report. A company executive management is in charge of preparing the annual report. Thank you.